6:32. We're joined now this morning by defense attorney and legal analyst Patrick Cafferty, who's going to be giving us some legal analysis as we go through the trial. Patrick, nice to see you this morning. Before we get into what happens today, I did want to kind of set the stage with this and something that you touched on. You've got demonstrators and counter demonstrators already outside the courthouse. I feel like people across the country want this trial to be about a number of things that it maybe isn't going to be about. They want it to be about the Jacob Blake shooting. They want it to be about the rioting. They want it to be about a referendum on policing, whether or not Kyle Rittenhouse is a good guy. And really what's going to be put in front of the jury ultimately are legal questions of whether Rittenhouse had a right to defend himself in that situation.
Good morning, Susan and Vince. Vince, you raise a great point. And I'm going to give an example of what occurred during voir dire yesterday or jury selection. One of the lawyers, and this is not meant as a criticism of him, this is how lawyers are trained to operate, began to ask jurors about whether they were angry about the riots. And you saw that the judge immediately shut him down and said, look, we're not here to talk about whether jurors are angry about the riots. We're here to talk about very specific things. And as Andrea indicated in her statement, the opening statements that are going to occur today are going to be limited by the judge to the lawyers talking about what the evidence is actually going to show. Again, lawyers are trained to push the envelope and talk about other things, sometimes in a way that's designed to emotionally manipulate jurors. The judge has clearly demonstrated that he will have no patience for that sort of thing. He is going to keep everyone on track, not only in terms of the timing, but in terms of efficiency of information and what people are allowed to talk about. So back to your point, Vince, this won't be about the riots. This won't be about Jacob Blake. This won't be about policing. This will be about very specific issues. And one of the things the judge is going to do is he's going to read the charges to the jurors. He's going to tell them very specifically what they are. There are a total of 7. I'm going to focus on 5. It's first-degree reckless homicide, first-degree recklessly endangering safety, first-degree intentional homicide, attempt first-degree intentional homicide, and then first-degree recklessly endangering safety. So the judge is basically going to tell the jury that during the course of this trial, those 5 things will be the focus, and they will ultimately be asked, has the government proven beyond a reasonable doubt that these 5 things have occurred? And they'll be required to view them individually. They're not going to be asked, were all 5 proved together? They're going to be asked, has each individual charge been proven beyond a reasonable doubt? And the jurors will be required to focus on those issues.
It will be fascinating to watch. Patrick Cafferty, longtime defense attorney and our legal analyst. Patrick, thanks as always for joining us live this morning, and we'll see you again tomorrow morning.
Thank you, Susan.